Hi, everybody. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forums. Tech, knowledge nectar, tech that moves you, ideas that scale you. And from cloud infrastructure to cybersecurity, growth, and leadership insights, our four pillars have empowered professionals worldwide. Today, our topic of discussion is breaches to brilliance and using AI to predict, prevent, and protect data. And to your go to podcast today on tech, cybersecurity, growth, and leadership. I'm your host, Prem Kumar AS, and today we are going to explore how data can be predicted, prevented, protected using AI. Welcome to all joining us today on the Power of Knowing Forum, our episode 262, live on LinkedIn. Thank you for being part of our journey. It means a lot for us. And we here we continue to grow and succeed. Let's have our esteemed speaker joining us today to discuss on this topic. We have Shivakanth Pavan Kumar, Cybersecurity Thought Leader, VP ISE2, Bangalore chapter, joining us today. Let's welcome our esteemed guest to the podcast event and let's dive into the topic. Hi, Shiva. Welcome to our podcast. How are you
Hi,
today,
Prem.
Shiva?
Good evening, Prem.
Good
I'm
evening.
doing good. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah,
And a warm welcome to all the podcast viewers and Power of Knowing audience. Thanks, Prem.
thank you. Shiva, let's dive into the topic because you are coming for the second time. I don't want you to reintroduce because you are known in the podcast circle for me, at least in the Zoom. Uh, what kind or what has the nature of breaches evolved in the AI era, and how are we chasing symptoms instead of root causes? Because symptoms we found most of them. So, what could be the root cause there? Your views on it, Shiva?
Yeah, thanks. And it's again what we share the answers here. It is the prospects from the individual experiences and the learnings, right? There is no
Yeah,
right answer to it. And that's the disclaimer for any questions what we discussed here purely on either research or our own learning experiences, right? It's for
right.
the awareness and mutual learning, right? With that disclaimer, um, AI is evolving, right? So it has a great potential. uh, Primarily we leveraging AI for minimize the human effort and do max automation, right? And leverage the strength of AI. And that's how the world is uh,
Hmm.
you know uh, doing the journey. So coming back to your question, uh, earlier we used to dealt breaches like after the alarm pop up, right?
Okay.
So but now coming to a enhancement, a notifies the predictions, which is telling us before you even touch the door itself. A can tell us, okay, there's somebody going to come in, right? That's the advancement is bringing in. However, uh, still we are behind the symptoms from and coming to the industry point of view. Can I patched it or did I block that, right? But people are forgetting what would have happened exactly the behind the issue, right? People not getting into the root of the issue. That's where we still limiting a strength at symptoms phase itself. So my point is anticipate AI and take the AI strength, get into a root cause level of uh, deeper investigation where AI can definitely help you to take to that path rather than just cleaning up and staying at symptom level. Right.
Thank you, Shiva. Now, coming to that point, what's one overlooked area where organizations quietly prevent a major breach?
Organization wise,
where AI can quietly prevent a major breach.
Okay, so one of the aspect I could think about threats,
Insider threat. Okay.
inside threats. So it may not be always malicious. Sometimes it could be accidental, right? But insider threats is one of the concern from the organization standpoint of view. I'll tell you because many times humans may not catch certain elements where AI is able to figure it out. Uh, for instance, one of the use case, some user unintentionally copying some of the personal data in odd hours, right?
Hmm.
So from the sensitive folders segment, so basically it would have triggered as a breach and a non-compliance alarm, right? But the AI intelligence could able to pick that up and alarm that there is some malicious activities happening. It could be insider threat. But later they found that it's not intentional, but it's an accidental. But point I'm trying to drive is now AI is helping these kind of some of the human can't trace or find wherein orders AI can help to fix these insider breaches or threats. Right?
Now, what you are saying is AI can help us analyze things, give us better results, is what you are saying, Shiva. Am I right
That's
in saying
correct.
it? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. When implementing AI-driven cybersecurity, what is the common mistake leaders make, and how do we fix that? Because we cannot have all the tools getting implemented without having a analysis or some kind of a check that is need to be done. Where do you feel that kind of a mistakes are done, and how do we fix that, Shiva? Is there a pointer that you can help us with?
Yes, Prem. I would think that in general observation, many folks over rely on the AI,
Hmm.
thinking that AI will take care of everything. But in reality, still your human intervention is key, right? I mean, some of people when we talk about it could be they're new to industry or something like that, they say that okay, I have deployed a powered tool which
Hmm.
is very intelligent enough, so my organization is secure. So their mindset is so now I put the AI intelligence tool and it will take care of everything. But that's not the reality. Still, you need human checks and balances are required to what actually AI is bringing in and right. So how we can overcome this is a human oversight is required and continuous tuning or learning of the model is essential and ethical governance is also essential when it comes to AI, right? So take an example, the plane, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so A can be co-pilot in your cockpit, right? It can talk to the various instruments and aviation equipments. It can give you an alarms and sign possible dangers. Also, it can tell you the safest route possible, right? But still, the captain is the owner of the plane, and he's the one has to consume this information and take a right decision way to land and how he can uh, deal the something storm or occurs or anything like that. But my point is, yes, AI will be a significant booster, but still human oversight is critical.
Now, what we are talking about is we are talking about how, when you train an AI system that can give you insights that fast, that humans can take time to detect or analyze. That's the first point I'm getting. The second point that I see is, when you have AI implemented there in any system, you find the options that are available for you to take a faster route. Maybe this one, the weather is like this at this stage, that kind of a predictions. By the way, the model is trained or the data that is given to it, it predicts, and that's where we can use is what you are saying, right? Am I right in saying that, Siva?
That's correct. So because AI is a learning model, right?
Hmm.
So it the prediction or historical data, what it has, right? What model it is learned or what database it has, based on that only it can give you the accuracy, right? So the more and more you train the model, the better results you get. But if you are using for example, many people using ChatGPT is a free version which has only data for sometime 2023 or 24. If you're using the freeware of that and relying on the current information, it may not give you the exact data, right? It will always give you the old data, but we can't
Hmm.
rely on the old data when you're handling some of these sensitive systems or sensitive applications. So that's where you need to have that human check, uh, whether I mean, not just go blindly what AI is saying, all right? And a due diligence is required. That's where you differentiate from the mission, right? So that's where professionals like us are, are still having work to do, and differentiate from here is
No,
what.
I think your point is as valuable as what you are saying, Shiva, because you need to have a human in the loop when things
Yes,
are planned. Because what you are giving the AI system is more of a decision that it can give it to us, or an analysis, not a decision. It's an
correct.
analysis that you are trying to get so that you take a decision. That's the primary thing. What happens in most of the analysis now with that, how can mid-sized companies with limited budgets start building AI infused cyber resilience? Because first of all, when you look at AI, it's an investment that needs to be justified to the business, right? So that's the first pointer. The second pointer, that is, how do you show that ROI in terms of the cyber resilience that we can achieve using AI? So these are the 2 points that I would like to understand from a uh, the mid-size companies with limited budgets. How can they enable themselves?
Yeah, great question, Prem. I think this is very often people ask in a lot of forums, right? And especially small and medium enterprises. I'm not like a big company like Google or Microsoft or Amazon. We don't have so much of
Yeah.
budgets with us. We can still leverage AI security, no, in our organization, right? Is it very hefty for investment? But uh, yes, they can still leverage absolutely. There are not always you know uh, heavy investments is needed. It's not like an NASA kind of budget you need to set up a security, right? There are ways you can collaborate uh, and leverage open source tools
Hmm.
for these small and medium enterprises. They can leverage open source tools. Of course, it comes with some of the due diligence required, but still it is a cost effective thing. And they can also depend on the pooled threat intel with peers, which is again, they need not to spend much on this. And third, they can set A alerts in syncing with either Slack or any of their messaging system, which would help us them to get everyone synced to the messages. So by doing this, these are the cost-effective uh, thing, and also they need not to spend a very high investments. With moderate expenses, they still have a good air security systems in place. Uh, ROI is very some of these human intensive works, right? That can be significantly reduced and save their human effort and put it into either in innovation space or more productive areas. They can deploy their manpower, which would ideally improve their productivity.
No, I think you are saying as in many words saying that start small, start somewhere, and
Yes,
start securing what is possible with the possible tools that are there from the open source market side.
correct.
And there are some of the tools that are available from the community side also, which are trusted, proven, and these can be used, is what you're saying in
Yes,
as
there are many. I don't want to name them,
yeah, right, yeah.
not to
So
just have a vendor bias kind of thing.
yeah,
But if they do a little bit research on this space, I think they can do decent.
yeah. How or what is one human blind spot that AI consistently helps uncover in cybersecurity workflows, if you're looking at? So, your thoughts on it, Shiva?
I believe humans itself is the I would say, because in security we say weakest link is humans, right?
Humans, yeah.
So because we are more emotional, when we feel tired, we may show that at work,
Hmm.
right? And you may miss some of the alerts. Sometimes you may see that this is the small stuff may not be important, right? The
Hmm.
ignorance basically humans can induce because of various factors. But other side of it is A, because it's a mission, doesn't have any emotions or feelings, and it won't trust any known person. It could be a phishing email or something like that. For it, everything is a process or a logic, what it uh, sends it, right? The model, how it is trained. So for AI, it's not feel like it's any boring or anything. It won't left anything untouched, right?
Hmm.
That way, I feel humans are the concern, and AI could overcome that concern, right?
Valid point, saying we are by default we are the weakest link when we talk about right. So that's the point that I get. Now in the current C-suit ready to trust AI with their crown jewel is data, right?
Correct.
And what if not, what's holding them?
Um, if you, I mean, if I just want to draw the parallels, if you look at back sometime, mm, cloud adoption, especially,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
When cloud introduction happened, people were a little bit reluctant to adopt the cloud, right?
Yeah.
Whether it is a safe where my data resides, um, if something goes wrong, whom I need to who is accountable? Is a provider accountable or owner me? I'm accountable, right? There are a lot more questions and uncertainty. So it took a time to overcome or get answers to those challenges and start evolving. And now it become matured enough. It become more cost effective and on demand. People are left, right, center using cloud, right? I think I would see similar analogy with AI.
Hmm.
But still, if you look at C-suite uh, executives in the boardrooms, they're still not convinced fully because can I really trust a decision? Uh, but A decisions are is like based on the logic what you built, right? But unless you don't explain the what kind of logic it is and bring some transparency about the A decision and make leadership understanding, they're not going to trust it,
Hmm.
right? So it is uh, probably the CISO or some of the security board members their responsibility to explain the the reasoning behind the AI, and how the decision is going to helping the protect and organization brand or overcome a breach or protecting the customer loyalty, etc. Basically, you need to make them understand what a really doing decision that is ethical enough, right? I think that's the responsibility for the some of the senior leaders in cybersecurity to make leaders to understand, to build that trust, is what I want to say.
I think that's a very important point that we should look at leaders telling we should not hold back, because you rightly said the adoption side. Yeah, we've been
Yeah,
slow in understanding the adoption first. When we start adopting, we are doing a very rapid adoption
yeah.
of things that are there. So that's a kind of step
Technically, we
that we have.
can't make them convince because see,
Mm,
that's I mean everybody knows that, right? We don't explain things in technical way in board meetings, right? So people want to know the deeper understanding why it blocked, right?
yeah.
What exactly A is functioning. That's they are not clear yet. That's the
I,
gap I want to
I
fill.
think there are two things that I feel when we go and talk in board meetings, Shiva. Is one is either we are talking too technical, or we are not talking business at all when the technical things are coming in. That's the
Absolutely.
first
Yeah.
point. The
Yep.
second is when we talk business, we are leaving technical completely out of it, saying that these are the things that are there. So my understanding and my experience is that we should tell the business in such a way that it is known to them in such a way that it is critical to protect the organization's assets. That's the way cybersecurity talks about. And the technicality is that you need these are the tools and which can help us protect
Correct.
overall. This is where we see the path. I've been speaking to many of the people whom I've been talking over the podcast now, where my boss used to always say is, you want to get something, you have to give the business only three pointers. One is how much time you need, what is the cost that is going to happen, and what are the resources that are needed. So with this, if I can achieve X, then this is what I will be in a position to give. So that's what I've learned from my bosses, where any project budgets used to get sanctioned when you had these elements and the outcome coming in. So that's
You have
that's
nailed
where
it.
I
Yeah.
my boss was clear. कितना चाहिए, कब, क्या चाहिए. He'll ask first क्या चाहिए. He'll
Yeah.
ask, the first question is क्या चाहिए तेरे को, कितने लोग चाहिए. So I'll say four people. कितने दिन के लिए चाहिए. Then you get the time and the duration, right? And then इतना लोगों के लिए कितना खर्चा आएगा वो बताओ. So you give that. ये सब देने के बाद मेरे को क्या
ROI.
देगा,
ROI. Yeah.
क्या देगा. So that's the crux of any business. I think that's where the whole uh, business runs when it comes to securing or putting an investment from the board side. Now, what indicator should business leaders track to know if their AI driven strategies are working? Because
Uh,
once you get the budget, you get it implemented. Now they want to understand whether what I did is working or not. So that's
Correct.
the
I
pointer that
think this,
they would
yeah.
like to understand. So your views on it, Shiva?
So this question is, I mean, from the investment point of view, everyone has that
Yeah.
whether I'm putting this amount on.
Am I putting
It's not
my
correct. As a right investment, I'm doing, right?
yeah, yeah,
Basically.
right.
Yeah. So in this context, but any product you buy,
Mm,
you ideally see that is my investment is worth, right? Coming back to a question, so now people are I'm investing on this AI tool, whether it is really working, right? So my take is how faster your AI tool is detecting the possible breach or threat, right? It's mean time to detect, what we say MTTD, right? And it should give you a less false positives, because in a world, right, there are high chances of false positives. Basically, it triggers as an issue, but ideally it's not an issue, right? But you trigger your instant response, you put a lot of people working, right? A lot of burnout is happening, right? So false positive is one of the biggest concern in a segment. So when you assess or deploy a based tool, you should look at which can give as less as possible false positive, one of the parameter. Then the next thing would be accuracy of the information, right? And So by combining all these elements, I think uh, I would, to make it much more simplifier, um, prior to you deploy a solution, your detection time taking, for example, 5 hours, right? Now A is bringing in, now you are able to detect that in 15 minutes. That's the measure to success, is what we are looking at, not just how many threads it's blocked or not that, but what is the impact it is basically creating it, not the noise, is what that's how I look at it, Prem.
I think the point that you are stressing is, rather than having the noise that it is created, how much is what we are actually benefiting out of it, is what you are trying to say, right,
Absolutely,
Shiva?
yes,
Right.
yes.
If we had to redesign a cybersecurity from scratch for 2025, how would the AI be at its core? Because we are saying I'm giving you a green field, you
Mhm.
start with the AI deployment of a cybersecurity stuff from scratch. So, what would be your take on it, Shiva?
So these days it's everything is by design, right? So
Yeah.
I would bake from the foundation itself. I will introduce A from the foundation itself, not afterthought. That's for sure. Second, I would leverage zero trust architecture, and I start assess every access request. Then also every identity is continuously assessed. So I take zero trust architecture, I deploy uh, with the A integration. Then we also look at everything is verified, nothing is granted, and also identity is continuously assessed. By uh, doing this, along with this, I also would like to build self-healing systems to fix the issues as and when they appear, rather than just going with the weekly dashboard reviews. So that's my way of approach, Prem.
Okay, so you are saying you start from scratch, build in the structure that is required from base, from the design side,
Correct.
and see how we can enhance the current, or we are doing it from scratch. So we are in
Correct.
bringing everything into a shape before we test it, then implement, right? That's the point that you're saying. Uh,
Yes.
I've been talking on this on many places. What is the shift that is required, whether it is technology or a mind shift that is required? So what mindset shift is required from IT teams to move from, we've been always defensive, right? So to a predictive posture, because now, earlier days was intrusion detection, then
Correct.
prevention, then mitigation, right? So how
Correct.
do we move out from that mindset? Because I was having a call somewhere recently where we talk about whether tools and tool sets are important, or a shift of mindset is required to have a better cybersecurity policy built or a structure built. So my take was mindset. So your take, Shiva.
Uh, I would say both is required,
Okay.
uh, right? So I always go take both in a balanced approach. Of course, yes, as you rightly mentioned, mindset is required to adopt a first thing and bring a change. Otherwise, we don't I mean, we get used to certain philosophy, or be it the habits, or the work culture, right? Unless you don't build that change in mindset, you don't adopt the newer thing. So abs- there is no doubt about adopting to mindset, but uh, while adopting your mindset, it also need to complement some of these technologies and tools to get the great benefits. So coming back to your question, can you repeat that question once, please? uh, what was the mindset shift?
So,
right?
what
Yeah.
mindset shift is required from the IT teams to move from a
Okay.
defensive to a predictive postures? Because now everything is cloud security posture, right? So, where
Correct.
we look at
Correct. Yeah. I'm just thinking from the IT point of view. So, in generally, what happens as we traditionally look at, we always trying to defend. That's the strategy people are following for decades now, right? So we always think that how we can defend. Defense, basically defense in depth is what we say in cybersecurity, right?
Hmm.
So that's the practice. If you look at most of the IT teams will follow, you have a perimeter, you have firewalls, you have physical security, endpoint security, right? Basically, we do it more depth in defense so that attack surface can be delayed and so that we can detect and encounter it, right? That's how we traditionally following.
Hmm.
But what happening with the latest enhancements or advancements now, you put these walls or barriers or traps, attackers is already crossing and staying inside those
Yeah.
you know those boundaries basically, and they're not getting detected for weeks or months and creating enough damage by then
Yeah.
you identify, right? So there's no more you can stay that way, right? So that's where AI can help you to overcome because of some of these from the defensive you need to come out of the prediction model. So that's where your AI will benefit you to see some of these forecast methods or and prediction models which could prevent from these attack surface.
Right. Okay. Now, Shiva, one important pointer that I want to take. See, while we talk about AI adoption for cybersecurity, right? Cybersecurity becomes a, pointer where every person in the organization or every organization wants to bring AI there, right, into predicting and stuff. Now, what is the ethical red line? Okay, and if that is there, can AI ever go too far in protecting us?
I think possibilities are there. The red line what I see is if AI is uh, see ideally AI should help us, guide us,
Hmm.
not control us basically, right? The moment it's becomes superior and start controlling without any proper explanation, right? If it is blocking our access, like creating discomfort or handling our sensitive information or data, right? Those are the I think I see that's the no crossing the border or a red flag.
Red flag. Okay.
So the one thing is having that ethical practices, bringing and bring a governance into the place. Otherwise, um, over a period of time, missions can overtake human and disasters can happen. We
Yeah.
also seen some of these movies,
Hmm.
Rajnikant Robo, right?
Yeah.
When I see that, I mean, can't even imagine such kind of if it comes to reality, right? Disasters. So I think still it is evolving and mature. So we talk a lot in A, but I would see the implementation and scale is still to mature enough to come to that state. I think by then governments and other regulations and all they are putting great efforts to uh, make ethical way of consuming A going forward. Right?
No, very important points there, Shiva. Now, for this is a common question that I have most of the podcast that for how does human centric AI cybersecurity strategy look like for an hybrid environment? Because we don't go to office. Our modems given by the ISPs are not that high end and not secure. How do we look at the AI looking at this piece? Is one pointer that I want to understand from you, Shiva.
I think, as you said, this is widely discussed in various other forums or conferences also, right? Uh, Post pandemic, yes, this work from home is become normal, right? So the people are hybrid culture is part of work from home, and AI is essential role playing in that space because people wherever they want they can log in, just connecting to any hotspot or whatever it might be. Of course, organization has their own VPN and other uh, defense techniques, but you don't know from where he's exactly logging in, what time he's accessing, right?
Mm,
So
mm.
some of these parameters where humans can't track, or your knock or sock continuously can't monitor, or it may miss some of the human errors, right? That's where I think AI is playing significant role from the work from home monitoring standpoint of view. However, one important aspect is privacy, right? Protecting their privacy while you monitor these aspects from the end user point of view. Yes, you use leverage AI tools and secure endpoints. That's fine, but you don't get into employee privacy aspects.
Yeah.
You don't monitor him. Don't like treat like a spying kind of thing. That's may not be appreciated as long as you balance that and give that space and protect their employee privacy and use only for endpoint protection. I think A can be a phenomenal help for the work from home user.
Great, sir. Now, with that coming in, the market is seeing cybersecurity as a booming space because everybody is moving to cloud, doing some of the AI is playing. Most of the tools are SaaS based tools, right?
Correct.
And now looking at freshers entering space or data science, where should they start in understanding AI's role in breach and prevention?
So as we said, I mean, A people, everybody is saying A, but the maturity still taking place, and freshers you need to understand, not be so passionate or just I'll get into this A space and
Yeah.
I'm secured kind of thing, right? So still it is an evolving field. So start small and understand the concepts and deep insights about AI, and choose the domain which you really curious it about and interests you. Than if I do this something I end up with something, a big role or big pay. Don't go with that thought. What you really align to your interest, your domain. So align to that particular domain and do the deep understanding of those concepts, and explore some of the open source tools which not cost. Basically freshers, they don't want to spend money on them, and they also have lots of information. Now it's an information era, right? You have tons of information available in YouTube and various other communities that people get pouring the information. So you need to consume it in a how much you can take it. Otherwise, sometimes it overwhelms also, right?
Yeah.
And then understand how you can detect some of these phishing attacks or phishing emails, right? And join some of these communities, right? GitHub communities, especially from the development point of view, if you look at them, right? A data centric thing. But whatever you do, learn from doing it, not just
Yes,
reading, and
sir.
limit yourself to only just reading or seeing. It may not give you that confidence. The things when you start doing hands-on or smaller labs or simulations, right? That's where your confidence will boost, and the retention of information what you learned will retain for a quite long time. I think that's my thoughts.
Now, we've been talking on AI. what's one prediction that you are looking or confidently make about AI on cybersecurity for the next 3 years? Is there a prediction that we can put on, Shiva?
I think that's a tough question, Prem. But in general, I think now in any organization, patching, I see it's a very challenging task because people, some of them, they may not get the enough downtime because most of the times when you do a patching, it may require a reboot basically to get your patch updated, right? So people don't uh, willing to give that downtimes, and
Hmm.
at times some of these patches are not tested enough, right? And it may bring down that post patch update also. We see some of the issues. We have seen that blue screen death of, I mean, that Microsoft thing, right? CrowdStrike some time back. The many
Yeah,
missions got impacted because of it is not tested in the test zone and directly put it on production.
production.
So I see this would be go forward. I think A can patch vulnerabilities in real time is what I'm thinking from, and it's become a immune system basically for the system, basically self heal capable, and you can prevent some of these 0 day vulnerabilities because of this advantage. But we also see from the adversary's point of view, uh, they can craft undetected payloads and make attacks much more, sophisticated as a challenges for us, right? So you
No,
have
I think what you're saying is absolutely true because
you
when
have
we are trying
benefit
to
as well as
protect, we are using AI tools.
correct.
The guy who wants to penetrate also uses some of the tools, right? So he may use an advanced tool to have that tested or penetrated. So it's a it's a breach situation. You should assume that you are breached and try to protect is what I think is a stand that we are looking at, and that's where we stand. I think your take going forward that on that, Shiva.
Yeah, I mean it's always you have both sides, right? One side, like people like us, ethical professionals, we try to protect, and other side, these attackers and advisors always challenges, and so this is a battle, is a never ending thing. So
It's the egg and chicken stuff, I think, right? So
correct,
which
correct.
which
So
came first? Yeah.
yeah. So one point, I mean, you still have an edge
Mm.
to leverage AI to overcome these challenges, is what I believe, Prem.
I think that's a very valid point. Now, when we talk about board again, right, or the business owners, if you had one message to the business owners today about AI and data protection, what could it be, right? So
So we started this whole conversation, I think, about data, right?
yeah.
So how we uh, protect from these attacks, surface or breaches, or how we can prevent from possible breach, and how AI is helping us from protecting this data, right? So if I look at that narrative, I think we don't protect data just for sake of compliance or audit standpoint of view, right?
Hmm.
We save data for protecting from possible breach and saving organization. So I think from that thought processing, ICA is become a shield to protect data, and but you should know how to use it in a right way, ethically
Hmm.
and responsibly. Is what that's the message I want to give.
I think that's absolutely true on it, and we have come to the final question that I had asked. So, those are the questions that I had in mind for asking you to look at how breaches to brilliance using AI to predict, prevent, and protect data. Okay, that's the final question. With this, I would like to summarize what we have discussed in the overall pointers that we were doing. We started with some of the breaches where the real world breach patterns, emphasize some of the predictive and reactive models. We started there. Then we mentioned behavioral analytics, endpoint anomalies, inside threats. That's where prevention is often invisible but immensely powerful, is what we had as a pointer. Then we discussed on overall resilience on the tech without the human oversight. That's one thing that you spoke about, AI being a co-pilot in giving some of the pointers, which can be easy when compared to a human doing those kind of permutations and combinations for us. Then we
Correct.
spoke about fatigue, which is misses implicit trust kind of a thing, where machines see humans emotionally skip, right? So that's
Correct.
the, where we machines have an accuracy to data and humans put an emotion to it and skip it, say it should be a false positive, right? that's
Correct.
that's what we spoke about. Then we spoke about culture, regulatory fear, explanatory gaps. That's what we spoke about. Then coming to the next point, we spoke about some of the metrics where strategy is putting on track. Leaders want to look at AI driven systems and what they would look after, right? So then we spoke about some of the pointers that you would look when you build a system from scratch. That is where we started talking about some of the zero trust models or generative AI, real time adaptive defenses, some futuristic proofing that needs a run to be done. And then we spoke about continuous learning, cross functional, where we talk about defensive and predictive postures. That's what we spoke about. Then we spoke about auto reporting stuff, where some of the reportings that can be done when
Correct.
the red line happens, right? Where can the systems can look at, or that's the point. Then we spoke about trust enhancing, no trust encoding in AI designs. We spoke about the important point is when you build a system, you bring it from scratch as a design where security gets
Imbibe.
implemented, and
Correct.
right. So then we spoke about where this freshers can look at data science and data cybersecurity certifications, communities where you ask them to join some of the communities, some of the sessions. And
Correct.
I think Power of Knowing forum has a lot of data on the cyber security. I think that is one thing that you can scan us. You can look at our podcast, which we've been doing with the leaders. Shiva has come for the second time on our podcast, and he's given great insights. And we have leaders coming into our podcast and giving that kind of an insights. Do join us. Do subscribe to our this one where we have streamed this podcast live to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Now, coming the next pointer that we spoke about was on the confidentiality part, where make it bold but believable is what we wanted to say in saying that next to 3 years, what is that is the roadmap that we are looking at. Then on the final side, on the last pointer that we spoke about, is how the business owners today are about data protection and AI data. Would it be possible? What is the message that we wanted to give? You don't secure your data for compliance, you do it for continuity, is what we want to conclude with. And you need to keep your business running, so that
Correct.
continuity is very important for us to look at. And with that, I think, Shiva, this is the pointers that we spoke over the last 50 minutes of our discussion. Any
You
final
have
pointers
greatly
that you would like?
summarized, Prem. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Shiva. Thank you. Any pointers that you want to add? And I have few questions which have come here. I'll bring them on the screen before we conclude, Shiva. Any pointer that you want to add, or I'll bring the questions up here?
Yeah, it's great to be here, Prem. And as you said, second time, I enjoyed conversation with you, and happy to be part of this wonderful platform. Uh, Thank you for giving me opportunity to share some of my learnings. Uh, it's a great privilege and honor. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prem.
Shiva. Thank you. This is one thing which I got where we have you too, Joseph. Wonderful. Love the topic of choice of discussion, much needed. That's one question that we have. Then we have a person by Suresh. Interesting session is one thing that is come from as a comment.
Thank
Then
you.
we have Atish Ashok, insightful session. A
Thank
few
you.
are not come here where Santosh Tripathi says, wow, what a great way of nurturing the community. Shivkant, thank you.
Yeah,
Then we
thank
have
you,
Dr. Lalit
Santosh.
coming in and say, love this Shivkant, is what Lalit is saying.
Thank you,
And
Dr.
this is
Ravi.
on the LinkedIn. I'm not sure why it is not getting popped onto our this one. And we have Jitu Joseph saying that after those are the 2 pointers that we spoke earlier. So these are the pointers that we've got from the audience poll.
Thank you, Jitu. Yeah, thanks to everyone for those who joined and encouraging us. It
Yes,
means a lot, right? So that's encouragement. Keep us motivate and do more such sessions, and add value to the community. That's what our intent. Either me or Prem or any community person. How we can give back and add value to the community is what only our
yeah,
vision.
that yes, I
Thank you.
that's the purpose of what we brought Power of Knowing Forum into place, and we've been having these kind of sessions because you have Google or you have Chat GPT, you give hundreds of options, but is there a person I want to bring in and refer? That's the human in the element that we want to bring in, and these important discussions have shaped most of our podcasts doing so far. We've done 262 episodes today, and with this I think I thank everybody who's joined the session today. And please do follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook and Instagram. We are there. Hope this discussion has helped you. Thank you for joining us. Our next podcast is happening tomorrow at 6:30 p.m., which is our 263rd episode. We're talking on organic and how to create pro growth culture that results compound. And tomorrow at 6:30 p.m., join us. Looking to see you there. Shiva, thank you for joining us. And with this, we would like to conclude the session, Shiva. Good day. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Prem. I wish you all the best and wish you 500
sure.
episodes
So with the
soon.
help of the community, definitely
All the
we'll go
best.
there, Shiva. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye bye.